I wasn't entirely sure. I wasn't entirely sure if I was gonna record this, but our family dog of over 15 years had just passed away today. I actually had just came back home from my trip from New York City last night around 10:30, and in that ride home, she broke the news that we were planning on putting my dog to sleep because of, his health was declining. I knew that was a long time coming, but I didn't think it would come so soon. So when I got home, I saw my dog. I ran to my dog in the backyard. He was just chilling there. My siblings had told me that he hadn't been eating, almost a whole week. He was really light, and I felt that he wasn't the same dog that I grown to love, and that old age had gotten to him. And even though I feel like he wasn't there anymore, that he was trying his best to be there. Because usually he would go out of his way to like me. He was such an affectionate dog, which was what I really loved about him. And at that moment, it almost felt like he was lifeless. He was just looking at me, but it almost felt like there was no shine in his eyes. At that moment, I knew that it could happen anytime. I was just glad that I was able to make it home, and I hugged him real tight, and I apologized for all of my shortcomings as a dog owner and as a friend and as a person to him. I wish I didn't let my ambition blind me from being there more for him, for being able to love him more, hug him more, kiss him more, spending more time with him. So anywho, after that, I went inside the house, and my gut told me to bring the dogs inside. Actually, all of us had fallen asleep because of my jet lag, and it was just late at night. Supposedly, my dog was not moving very much, and around 4 a.m. was when I finally woke up and decided to go to bed and bring my dogs to where they sleep. Fast forward to 4 hours later at 8 a.m. I woke up to my sister screaming that my dog was dead. I was in denial at that point. I still didn't believe it, because I felt like my sister half the time likes to be dramatic and over the top. But I rushed out and I went into the bathroom, which is where they sleep because it's much warmer in there with the two dogs. And there I saw my best friend, my first love, of 15 years, lifeless and cold. And I was in complete shock that the only thing my body did was, I just started crying. I started bawling. I couldn't contain myself, seeing my dog like that. And, I actually got closer to him just because I wanted to see and confirm that it was true. His eyes were open and his mouth was open. Later on, we found out that he may have had his final seizure before finally passing on. At that moment, I couldn't help to think and believe that my dog waited for me. That my dog waited for me to come home from New York City last night. Out of all times that could have happened, he did it. When we were all sleeping, when we were all safe and sound, and that he wanted and waited to see me first, to, see me one more time and say his goodbyes before he finally left us. Like, I don't mean to really get sentimental, and I'm not doing this video because I want to get any sympathy from anyone. But if there is, thank you. Me and my family really appreciate it. I just also really figured that since I am really wanting to put my life experiences out there, my life, I find it very valuable and important for me to also record about this and include this in the vlog, that life is not always good. Life does not always comprise of just positive moments. You also have your moments where it is so hard. It's heartbreaking. It's a mixture of all of that, and I feel like what you find in between is actually the real gem. Going back to the story, I was actually really afraid to get closer to my dog just because there's something about my dog being dead in front of me and me being closer to him and touching him. I felt uncomfortable. I, for some reason, have this weird fear that he was gonna come up and just wake up and bite me or something. Not that he would, and sadly he didn't. I wish he did, but he didn't. I guess it's just a weird fear of mine. Thankfully, I was able to get rid of that apprehension and fear to get close to him, and I just hugged him real tight, and I broke down, and after that it became easier for me to be able to just touch him, caress him, you know, brush him before we had to take him to the I forgot what it's called, but the cremation services. Graceful departure was where we went to. Hopefully I'm not really skipping any parts of the story. Before we did that, we actually had my youngest sister come home from school. She was absolutely heartbroken, and seeing her reaction even broke my heart because besides myself, she was really only the other person that was close to my dog, as she took over my responsibilities of taking care of my dogs full time as I've gotten older. Happy joined our family in 2005, so I was like 13 years old. So I was 2 years younger than my sisters now, and you know, I'm now 27, and he made it up until I came home. He waited for me. My sister took that responsibility, and I'm very proud of her. I'm actually very thankful for her for loving my dog the way that I did. But I have to admit, I was not perfect. In his 15 years of life, that we really tried our best to show him love, affection, support, comfort, to be there for him. So we took him to graceful departure. Yvonne, who was a lovely veterinarian, took care of us. She was very sensitive, very comforting. She took care of me and my family really well. So long story short, we eventually had our last moment of silence with him as a family. We were about to go. All of a sudden, I knew that I needed to stay one last time, just, you know, with me and him, since I was his original dog owner. I grew up taking care of my dog. I've been with him through thick and thin. So when I finally had that moment with him, I feel like that was really when I let everything out. That was when everything hit me, that once I leave this room and once I stop not just seeing him, but once I stop holding him, that it was really me letting him go and saying goodbye to him. Everything happened so fast. It really took me quite a long time for me to be able to do that, because every time I tried to leave, I could not leave him. And by physically letting him go, I knew that it was my way of admitting that, you know, he is really gone, and that I'm never gonna see him again, touch him again, you know, hug him again and kiss him again. My last moments with him, I just, you know, let it out. I kissed him and hugged him really tight, you know, because that's all he's given me. He's given me so much love than, you know, more than I could ever give myself, and I'm really, really thankful to have had him growing up. I'm really gonna miss a happy end. I don't know why I made this video besides to tell the story. I guess this is really in honor of my loving dog, Happy. If y'all have pets, you know, please treasure them. Or if you don't have any pets, you know, anyone you love, just please treasure them and don't take their love for granted, which is what I feel like what I did. And deep down inside, the last moment that we had last night, I was able to ask for forgiveness, and we were able to come full circle, and, you know, all is good. But still, don't take anyone you care for granted. Don't take life for granted, because life is so short. One thing, you could be with someone and the next they're gone. Don't hold back. You know, kiss them with all your might, hug them, even if it's very cheesy. Who cares if it's cheesy? If you really love someone, you have to show it to them, and don't let that happen until you realize that. So it's just been such a whirlwind of emotions. I haven't even been home for 24 hours. I'm going to be okay. I've been talking to people, but my thing is, I know that I don't do well with saying goodbyes or that, but I didn't also realize that it would hit me this hard. I feel like I'm filled with so much guilt, regrets, yet good memories. It's very, I feel like I'm definitely in a place of denial. So yeah, I guess what you will see now after this part is a montage of my dog. I really hope you enjoyed this montage that I've created, because I really feel like this is the least thing I could do to show y'all. Hopefully he sees it wherever he is, that I loved him so much. So without further ado, enjoy the next part of the video. Have a good day, guys. Bye.